My God, I am yours for time and eternity. Lord, I am yours forever. It is you must teach me to trust in your providence, loving Lord.
Hello, my name is Sister Kathleen Gooch, and I'm actually living in St Mary's Convent in Handsworth in Birmingham. And this is a very special house for us because it's the last foundation of our foundress, Venerable Catherine McAuley. She came here in August 1841. She stayed for 4 weeks, and then she took very ill here, and she went back to Dublin, where she died on the 11th of November 1841. So each day, I'm literally walking in Catherine's shoes. In the chapel where Catherine walked, in the refectory where she ate, and in her bedroom where she slept. And it makes her soucipe, her prayer, very real to me. And that's why today I've chosen to reflect on walking in Catherine's shoes of mercy. I'd like to begin by reflecting on an Old Testament event that talks about shoes. Well, actually, it talks about sandals. But it's from the book of Exodus. Now, Moses was tending the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led his flock to the far side of the wilderness and came to Horeb, the mountain of God. There, the angel of the Lord appeared to him in flames of fire from within a bush. Moses saw that though the bush was on fire, it did not burn up. So Moses thought, I will go over and see this strange sight, why the bush does not burn up. When the Lord saw that he had gone over to look, God called to him from within the bush, Moses, Moses. And Moses said, Here I am. Do not come any closer, God said. Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground. Then he said, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. At this, Moses hid his face because he was afraid to look at God. The word of the Lord. Now, looking at that reading, we can see that Moses was very much in active mode. He was out minding the sheep, doing what his father-in-law had asked him. So in a way, he had shoes on time. He had his shoes on. He was working. He was then drawn away from the activity, and he was asked to take off his shoes to encounter God. So shoes on time and shoes off time. Action and prayer. In our busy lives, this story can teach us so much about being aware of God in everything. All we have to do is to open ourselves to the experience. Everything in life is holy ground if we stop and reflect on it. There is a great difference between knowing about a person and knowing them. Many of you will have partners, you'll have friends, but you'll also have people that you just meet as acquaintances. But your good friends, a special friend, knows everything about you. And when you have someone like that in your life, it changes you, changes the way you even look at the person. And similarly, when you get to know the Lord as a friend, one is given a coping mechanism that really you never thought you had, or I never thought I had. It's about taking one's shoes off and sitting with the Lord and gaining the strength to carry the Lord with me when I put my shoes back on again. Would you like now just to take a few minutes and turn to the person next to you and just talk about the different kinds of shoes you've had in your life? You know, what age you were, why they had an impact. Just talk to one another about shoes. Now let us start by just looking at the shoes you're wearing today. Why did you choose those particular shoes? Do you even like shoes? When I was a little girl, my mother had great problems trying to get me to wear shoes. I always wanted to be in my bare feet. And there was a song at the time called Keep Your Shoes On, or Put Your Shoes On, Lucy. And that was constantly being sung to me because I didn't like wearing shoes. And to this day, I still do not like wearing shoes. And what about you? Maybe the shoes you're wearing are fashionable. Maybe they're comfortable. They go with your outfit. Or maybe they're just relaxing shoes. But do you love at night or at some point to get your shoes off and just relax? Shoes on time and shoes off time. Action and quiet. When we have our shoes on, we're in action mode. We're out and about actively working and doing everyday things in whatever way we can. But when we come home, we take off our shoes, relax, and enter into a time of rest, looking at our day and preparing physically and spiritually for another day of shoes on time. And have you ever tried to put on someone else's shoes? It's very difficult to literally walk in someone else's shoes. Harvey Jacobs, in his book, A Long Walk in New Shoes, writes, "The new shoes I speak of are not leather or suede or snakeskin. They're made of things less tangible, yet nonetheless real. You might call them shoes of understanding, created from conscience and compassion, laced with perspective, and designed with a little knowledge and based on respect and love. I repeat, The elements from which they are made: conscience, compassion, knowledge, respect, and love. For those elements will help all of us get into the shoes of others who need and want our understanding. Each life is unique and special. Your life is unique and special. Just think of the places in your own life where you've walked. Perhaps journeys you never imagined. The God of the unexpected and the God of surprises. The people you've met. The influences you've had. Your life journey is unique to you, and you have worn many types of shoes. So what about Catherine and her walk in mercy? Throughout her life, Catherine would have worn many different kinds of footwear, symbolic of the vast changes in fortune that occurred in her life. We can imagine the pretty shoes of her early years when the family was well off. But after her mother died and Catherine chose to live with her uncle and the Conway family, her shoes would have been quite elegant. But when that family fell into poverty, her footwear became very worn. And Catherine felt she was a burden on the Conways. So she moved to the Armstrongs, where she would have been given practical, serviceable shoes, like the ones we used to wear at school, very serviceable. But in the years at Coolock, she would have worn elegant shoes again, and boots, appropriate to her life of managing all the household matters for Mr. and Mrs. Callaghan, and also for doing her charitable works. Catherine was a shoes-on kind of woman, but her heart was always centered in God, because she had shoes off time, where she really took time for her prayer and her reflection. Even although the Callaghans would not allow her any religious objects, she could see the Lord in trees, in nature. And it was those times that gave her the strength to continue with her charitable work. And then, as a sister of mercy, living the poverty to which she was committed, her boots would have become very worn and shabby, filled with holes and handmade, as bought shoes were far too costly to buy. Remember, the sisters were called the walking nuns. When you think of all the travelling she did around Ireland and then England, she would only have had one pair of boots that had to be patched and mended over and over again. She finally laid down her boots on the 11th of November, 1841. She physically asked for her shoes to be taken to the fire and burned, a symbolic ritual of letting go of her days of action. Sister Mary Sullivan wrote the following: "This simple gesture of quietly burning her boots in the middle of the night stands as a remarkable symbol of Catherine's final abandonment of herself into the providence of God. In this, she accepted the end of her walking and turned barefoot towards the God who stood before her in death." So when we look at Catherine's life, we have to admit she was a shoes-on kind of woman. She was never more at home than when she had her sleeves rolled up and was engaged in responding in whatever way she could to the social needs of her society. But she would never have been able to do this without shoes off time. She was a great model to all of us of being able to come home, relax, have some fun with the sisters, and then spend time in prayer. Her prayer was a constant deepening of her relationship with her God of mercy. And she found that deepening of prayer in Coolock when she saw her God of love and tenderness in creation. Living that out when she embarked on the journey of a sister of mercy. In Catherine's life, faith and action gradually became two sides of the one coin. All of us know the decisions, the conflict she had to face, but her shoes off time gave her the confidence to know God was with her every step of the way. She coped with so many issues that are still with us today. Poverty, dirt, no clean water, vermin, illness, the rich getting richer and abusing the earth, and the poor suffering because of it. As she said, each day is a step we take towards eternity, and we shall continue thus from day to day until we take the last step, bringing us into the presence of God. Catherine read the signs of the times of the 19th century. What about the signs of the times today? Think about your shoes of mercy. Christ has no body now, but you and me. Catherine McAuley tried to be Christ with everyone she met. Can you and I try to do that in our daily interactions with people? A smile, a hello, a listening ear, a shoulder to cry on, a phone call. You can make such a difference to someone's life and self-respect. That is the gift of mercy. I leave you with two questions. What can you remember about the shoes that were important to you over the years? Those special shoes, maybe. And what is the balance of shoes on and shoes off time like in your life? So let's dust off our shoes and start walking, knowing that God walks with us. Thank you.
my name. For the Lord has called me, he has chosen me, his good news to proclaim. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted. He has sent me that the blind may see, that the lame may walk, that prisoners may be free. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me. The Spirit of the Lord, the Spirit of the Lord, the Spirit of the Lord speaks my name. The Lord calls to me his servant, the chosen one in whom he delights. He anoints me with his Spirit. His will is my desire, to be a light for those in darkness, and a friend to those in need, sharing food with those who hunger to be fed. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me. The Spirit of the Lord, the Spirit of the Lord, the Spirit of the Lord speaks my name. To be a light for those in darkness, and a friend to those in need, sharing food with those who hunger to be fed. The Spirit of the Lord is upon